100 years ago today, Baden-Powell established the Boy Scouts. Within 3 years, it had a membership of 1 million, over 1 million, and it spread to 54 countries. A couple of years after he'd set up the first camp, he was asked what was the value of the Boy Scouts. And he thought for a few moments, and he said, last weekend, I went to the Albert Hall. There, waiting in the Albert Hall, were almost 3,000 young people. Those young people had made their own way from across the southeast of England, from all over London, and they'd found their own way, they'd gone into the Albert Hall, they sat waiting for me, and when I arrived, I was the first and only adult in the Albert Hall. Now you only have to ask yourself, could that conceivably happen today? Of course, the immediate answer is no. Baden-Powell is, I would say, light years ahead in his thinking and in his trust for young people than most youth work practitioners that I encounter today. Instead of encouraging and developing opportunities, what we're breeding is an aura of mistrust. A mistrust which leads worker to mistrust worker. Yeah? So that we encourage youth workers to spy on their colleagues, to try and spot telltale signs of the potential pervert, the potential interferer, and so on and so forth. We are also, and I think this is even more terrifying for me, we are creating an atmosphere and we're feeding the bud of fear in the minds of young people. They are quite simply being taught to mistrust adults. In the sense, they begin to say, as I heard one young person virtually saying, you only want to do youth work because you're some sort of perv. The implication is no normal person would wish to spend time voluntarily educating young people. I'll just illustrate this in one very simple way. Somebody I know who's a landscape gardener. It was suggested that they would like to go into this school and recreate something positive in the wasteland, in the dull mess that was around the front of the school. She started. The first thing was she was told she would have to be police checked. Then she persuaded somebody to come in with a digger to help her. He would have to be police checked. It carried on. The ramifications in the end was that the woman said, I cannot be bothered. It's not worth the light. The project did not proceed. And I wanted to add just one thing to the earlier speakers, is of course it's not a one-off check. And so what you have is the ridiculous situation of someone who may have a portfolio of youth work jobs. Yeah? But each time they add to that, they do 2 hours here, they do 3 hours there, they're invited to do this. They're locked back into this process. So what that means is that A, organisations can't be bothered, yeah? B, there's a time lapse between when the young people want to do something and you involve the adult with it. These things are totally unnecessary if we consider young people at 16 mature enough to make profound decisions about the political future of this country and other countries around the world. That's